Hello everybody, 'tis I, the Rumpled One. Dollar. The game is to separate this from you, or from me. Because when you're on the internet, almost no matter where you go, there's somebody trying to get as many of these that belong to you from you. I mentioned this in a video the other day. And they'll do some pretty outlandish things to do that. I mean, the government tries this. They do this in terms of taxes and fees and licenses. I mean, I can't even go hunting on my own property without a license. They just want to separate some of these from me. That's what the game is. I've been talking about minimalism. If you watch that video, the other one I put out. And today there was a post on the minimalist group page, and they talked about, there was a link to another site, Buy Nothing 2014, where the guy that's blogging, he's not going to buy anything. But then there's some rules, of course. What he's talking about are things like clothes, gear, things that he says he already has, so he's not going to buy anymore. But things like food or razor blades, consumables, that's okay. He makes that distinction. And no thrift store shopping. But you see, to me, all of that is it's just absurd. Because you take anything to an extreme and it starts to become absurd. You see, what you really want to achieve, or what they're trying to achieve, is you want to be mindful. You want to be thoughtful when you're doing things. Doesn't matter if you're purchasing, if you're eating, if you're playing, if you're working. But to be mindful, to be there in the moment, paying attention and focused. You see, what happens is you're walking in a shopping mall and there's all these different ads, and you go in the sporting goods store or your big box store and you walk by the knife display and it's just like, ooh, that's cool. Even though you got a shoebox full of knives at home. Yes, I'm speaking from experience here. And you wind up with another knife and you come home and then a few days later you go, why did I do that? And it's because you got caught up in the moment and you weren't mindful. You see, if you have to, you can write something down on a 3x5 card, or maybe get a rubber band or one of them things that they wear, rubberized bands that they wear now to remind you to pay attention. So it's like you got this thing in your hand and you got your dollars in your other hand and you're like, do I want to trade this for this? Because for most people, these represent hours of labor. You might get 10 of these if you're getting the minimum wage or right around there, but after taxes you got about 7 of them left. So it's like for every 7, that's an hour. Do you want to trade that for this? That's the question you have to ask. And you say, if I have this, is it going to bring any value to my life? Is it going to do the thing, or am I just caught up in the moment? Do I really need it? Do I really want it? What's it going to do for me? I mean, you guys know about my caps and hoodies and jackets and bags, right? Is it really going to add value to get that other one? Probably not. Let's just be honest. So why do you do it? Well, sometimes you just might want to change. And that's not bad. It's okay. It's your life. You want to change? Change. Who am I, or who is anybody to tell you no? So, thing is, though, you have to be mindful about it. It's just so easy to get caught up. In fact, I was at the REI store a couple weeks ago, and they sent me, spend $50, get $20 off. Well, that's a 40% deal. So if I spend 50, I'm only actually spending 30. So I had to figure out what to buy. It took me a while. It took me a long while. I wound up buying another Sawyer water filter, and I wound up getting some nice climbing rope, nice thick stuff. I mean, does that water filter add any value to my life? Well, you never know, because I've got one in just about every bug out bag. There's used one around the ranch here. So yeah, it adds value. It's good for up to 1,000,000 gallons. That should last me the next 10 or 20 years, I think. And the climbing rope, who knows? Might save my bacon one day. You just never know. But it's going to be warehoused till I need it. So you see, in this great game of separating you from these dollars, all you have to do is be mindful, pay attention. But not buying for the sake of not buying, that's not being mindful. That's just being ridiculous, being absurd. You think you're going, what do you actually think you're accomplishing? Oh, well, if I don't buy, I won't spend all that time shopping. And so what are you going to do with the time? Well, I'm going to have more meaningful relationships. Really? I mean, come on. Let's get real. You know, all that touchy-feely stuff, new age psychobabble, it's a bunch of bunk. I mean, let's get real, people. You're going to do like you always do. You just might do a little bit more of. It's kind of like people say, oh, I don't have TV. Well, I don't have TV. That's because look where I live. You know, I think I might be able to get 1 or 2 free digital signals, but I still have the old analog antenna. I never got a digital one. Don't really miss it. But I don't watch TV for the sake of not watching TV. I just don't watch TV because I don't get TV reception here. Oh, sure, I could get it in a dish, but you ever go over to somebody's house that has a dish or the 300 cable channels? All those channels and there's nothing to watch. Really? I mean, unless there's a sporting event. I mean, most of the time you wind up watching stuff you've already watched. Reruns, you know. Old Bones reruns or House reruns. Or it's just crazy. What new shows are worth watching? Big Bang Theory, that's still pretty good, I guess. I haven't seen that in a couple of years. You know, I watched some reruns, but I don't think I've seen any new ones. So, just don't get caught up in all this minimalism thing. Just instead be mindful. Focus. You know, these people having these declutter workshops. I mean, really? You're a grown adult. You need somebody to tell you how to clean up your mess? Didn't your mother or father teach you that when you were growing up? I mean, that's just crazy. Decluttering workshops. I mean, have we become so lame a society that we need to go to declutter workshops? You know, once again, this is just my opinion. Hey, if that's what you feel you need, go for it. But I just say stop and think for a minute and ask yourself what you're doing, why you're doing it. Are you just caught up? Are you thinking clearly? Because see, if you're in that have, do, be cycle, where if you have, or maybe in this case don't have something, then that means you can do something, that means you can be somebody. You know, just skip the first two and just be it. It's just that simple. But all this have stuff, or do stuff, but I mean, a declutter workshop, only in America. I mean, can you imagine going to some third world country where people live out on the land and you're going to talk to them about a declutter workshop? They would look at you like you just landed from Mars. It's just only in America. Oh, maybe in England too, I don't know. But I mean, really. And the thing is, people have made businesses out of this for the past decade or so. Closet designers. Are you freaking kidding me? You're going to pay somebody your hard-earned dollars to design your closet? Has the world gone mad? I don't know. I guess maybe if they'll spend $4 or $5, $10 on a cup of coffee, maybe the world has gone mad. Once again, it's in the pursuit of your dollar. It's what it's all about. They're just trying to separate this from you. Just be mindful.